It's time to finish what I started on this one. Yep. Okay. I cleaned up a little bit, so I'm ready. I'm going to do the pressure flaking thing on this to get a lot of this jaggediness off of there, or to take care of that. And there's a couple of thick spots I still need to thin a little bit. That one right there. But that might be the only one. Let's see, what else did I see? Yeah, I think that's the only spot. Maybe the tip a little bit more, but I don't think I'm going to use percussion on the tip. But I am going to use it right here on this part right there. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking for my file. There it is. Maybe I should go over it really quick with a small percussion, indirect percussion tool, and just clean that up before I pressure. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do, so I don't wear myself out pressure flaking. So I want to sharpen it up really nicely. And if I'm really tired trying to sharpen it up, it doesn't come out as nice. Okay. How does that little bit get me tired? Well, I've been pressure flaking all day. Yeah, and I just spent 2 hours on one thing earlier. My feeble attempt at doing an Eden style. Yeah. I pressure flaked that from the beginning. It was, from the preform stage all the way to the finished. There's like 6 passes on each edge. So that's a total of 24 passes. Yeah. I think as I get used to doing these, I don't need as many passes, but it has to be very regular and consistent. And to get that, you've got to do a lot of passes with pressure, or very careful percussion passes. Yeah. So that kind of wore me out. But I've had like a 2-hour break. Let's see. Yeah, 2-hour break since that one. Okay, so I'm just going to pick at it with the percussion tool. This is a 5/16 inch copper rod, 5/16 inch diameter copper rod, 12 inches long. Black plastic mallet. If you need to know what it is, just ask me and I've saved an explanation on that tool. I mean, not that tool, but this mallet. I just copy paste. I get enough questions on my tools that I'll just copy paste what I have on in my notes to the response, or to the comment, the response to the comment, or the reply to the comment. Anyways, yeah. I forget if this stuff is steppy. I hope it's not. I don't remember it being steppy. If it is, I'm going to run into some problems. Yeah, it's not steppy. Good. Why problems? Because I'm trying to thin down the thin piece. I'm still trying to thin the thin piece. And if the rock is steppy, it doesn't work all that great to thin down the thin piece. Gonna need some cooperation. Yeah, that was good. Very nice. It went right over the top of that, whatever that is. This is a boogery spot right there. And why am I using the small flaker because I can. Oh yeah. It also shocks the piece a little bit less. It might not produce the best results, but it will shock the piece less. Sometimes when you use a small tipped piece or a small tip tool, it doesn't drive the flakes, or it doesn't drive a big enough flake, I should say. Yeah, but in this case the rock is nice, very nice. I just gotta make sure I don't mess it up. I need to hit below center line to get this last flake to run just right. And while I'm at it, I might as well pick on the rest of the edge a little bit. Or pick at, not pick on, although that's also appropriate. Yeah, pick at the edge a little bit down on this lower part. Yeah. See where I'm at. Where am I at? That's where I am at. Okay. Let's see if it did it. Ah, yeah. Voila. Yeah, that's it. Everything else is just trimming. Yep. Flakes that don't need to be very long. There's still some fat spots and that kind of thing, but they don't. The flakes don't need to be very long. All right, so this can be very tedious, both in terms of watching and doing, but it's got to be done. It's the law of the West. Oh, why did I dump things over here? Yeah, I determined that I did not need my glove for this. Ooh, look at that's loud. It doesn't sound loud when I do this, but when I do this, very loud. There it goes. It's not so loud when I hold on to it. Yeah. This is very wonky down here. Can I finish it entirely with percussion? Oh yes. I don't need to use pressure at all, actually. Unless I want to achieve a very specific effect. Very specific effects require pressure. If you don't want to mess it up, you can achieve very specific effects with percussion too, but percussion is a little bit more dicey. When hitting or when removing flakes. So it's just, you're just at a very slight disadvantage when doing a specific flake pattern with percussion, because it's a little more unpredictable than pressure. Pressure can be very highly predictable. Percussion, on the other hand, sometimes it does not behave. But there's some effects that pressure gives you that are so nice, like big flakes. It'll give you bigger flakes than you can do with pressure. At least for me. I don't have gargantuan strength. Yeah. Do I wish I had gargantuan strength? Sometimes, yeah, because then I could do fulsome points just with pressure. Yeah. Just pressure flake those fulsome points. Especially the smaller ones. Not all fulsome points are large. Some are quite small. So I could probably pressure flake those. The flutes, you know. I mean the flutes. Pressure flake the whole flute. By hand. When you've got gargantuan strength, you can do it. Yeah. Seriously. I've seen guys do it with Obsidian. Do that big, long, wide flute by hand with Obsidian. It can be done with a jig on regular flint or chert. So if you've got enough strength to match the jig, you can flute it by hand. I don't see why not. All right. But that's about it. I don't know. I suppose gargantuan strength would help in other things too. If it did not look like I was strong, I could win some bets in arm wrestling. Yeah. That might be fun. I should stop trying to run long flakes with this little flaker. But this material is spoiling me. It looks like it can do it. And it probably can, but I need to set up the edges a little bit stronger. And I don't want to hit all that hard up here near the tip. I actually did better this time around on the tip because I'm using percussion. That might be a eureka moment. Yeah, I can do thinning of the tip with percussion. I don't know how it works. Well, let's see. I can probably do it with the small ones too, although it's going to be dicey. With a small tip, like this one I was working on video, do that tip with percussion is a little bit dicey. Yeah. Unless I sharpen this a lot, which is possible. I might actually do a video that way. Sharpen the percussion flaker a lot, make it really pointy, and do some delicate arrowhead tips with percussion only. The tips of arrowheads, the tips of arrowheads, true arrow points, with a very sharp horizontal percussion flaker. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, I got a lot of suggestions to do different things. I got them written down, don't worry. I took some time the other day to write a bunch of them down. Still got to get the heat treat set up. I got it set up, I just haven't turned it on. I got to get it up and running. I just haven't got it up and running. I'm trying to get ready for my dad to come back home to the house. He's in a rehabilitation center to see if he can strengthen up his leg muscles. The Parkinson's is pretty bad stuff. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I gotta get everything ready. So I have not fired up the turkey roaster. Oh dang. Is that gonna be crunchy on me? I think it is. Is it gonna give me a remnant? I think it is. That whole side right there has been a thorn in my side. This side has been a thorn in my side. I probably have been a thorn in its side as well. Yeah. I can't get around the crunchiness. Come on. There you go. I knew you could do it. That's how I defeated it before. It still looks like I've got a remnant right there. Oh well. Everything else went pretty good. As long as you don't mind the metal marks. Yeah, because I think I'm just going to offer this as a blade in the auction, so I don't mess it up. Take too many chances with it. You know, putting in notches is unnecessary risks, especially if I put in a stem that has a little flute in it. Those are always fun, but they're risky. Why did the Indians do risky knapping? Well, obviously they didn't think it was all that risky, or they didn't care, or they said no risk, no gain. Yeah. If it doesn't have a little bit of luck involved, it means it's not blessed by the gods. Yeah. I see if the gods like me, and I'll take some chances, and if they don't like me, it'll break. Yeah. You don't know. You don't know what they were thinking. If it holds together after taking risks, it means someone up there likes you. Yeah. People still act that way these days. Okay. What did I do? I installed some steps. I hardly ever do that. Hardly ever. Okay, let's do it slowly then. Let's do it slowly this time, since I'm trying to force it off quickly. It didn't work. Yeah, it looks a little bit crunchy, and I gotta grind off those metal marks. I'm still trying to thin the thin piece, and I said I wasn't going to. I can't help it. Is this riskier than notching? No, for me it's not, because I'm just doing edge work. Notching is a whole different mindset. The risks in notching are stalling, for number one. Number two, blowing off an ear or a barb. And number three, the asymmetry. They look kind of bad if they're not symmetrical. or at least make an attempt to be symmetrical. They don't have to be symmetrical, especially if you're trying to imitate an artifact. But for artistic effect, you've got to make sure that that symmetry is not completely off. So there's ways to mess up with the notching, for sure. Yeah, I suppose the same thing applies to the biface. Somebody once told me what he uses to remove the metal marks, and I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting what it is. Probably some kind of chemical. Yeah. Some kind of oxidizer or something. Maybe it doesn't remove the metal mark. Maybe it just changes the color so it doesn't look like it's shiny. I don't know. It should be easy to make the steel metal marks look a little rusty so they're not shiny. I could always look for something that makes the metal marks rusty looking. Yeah. It got more narrow, huh? Yeah. Got a little bit smaller. But here we go. I'm going to pick at this very carefully. Alrighty. You ready? I'm ready. Alright, so I'm prepared with two different tool tips. Medium and fine points. My heavy point is very, very short and I need a new nail, so I'm not going to use that one, although I could do it, but the wood sometimes hits the workpiece and snaps something off. So let's start with the medium point. Yes? No, let's start with a fine point. That way I start with something that doesn't get me tired. Yeah. And besides, I'm working on the tip. I need a fine point for the tip, regardless of anything else. Oops. Don't install step fractures. Come on. There we go. Don't install step fractures because you're going to have a remnant. I might not be able to get it completely out. See these little step fractures like that? Sometimes I can get those out. Sometimes I can't. Am I going for super thin? I suppose, but no, not super thin. Not really. See, I tried to direct attack on that little step fracture right there, and it didn't work. Sometimes I can hit it twice and it'll remove the little step fracture that I just installed, but sometimes it just makes it a little bit worse. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with it too much more. That's good. That's good enough. Yeah. Not perfect. It's good enough. All right, so now the medium point, I can do everything else with the medium point. And luckily it's steel, so I don't have to keep sharpening it. If it was copper, I'd be wearing it down fast, because this is raw stone, as far as I remember. Yeah, it wears down the tools fast. Some people still ask, what do you mean raw stone? You cook it? Yeah. Yeah, we cook it in turkey roasters. Add a little bit of potatoes and onions. Yeah. I wish you could cook food alongside the rocks. You know, a little bit of stuff in there with the rocks. But no. Don't put food in there. But it is cooked at the same temperature as meat in many cases. It's only at low temperatures is 300 sometimes. 275. Yeah. It's funny how meat and stone cook at the same temperatures. It's funny, isn't it? It's a strange coincidence that was probably a good, happy happenstance back in the day. Cook your meat, and then you put some rocks down right beside the meat. Make sure there's no drafts so that the rock doesn't suddenly change temperature. And you can heat treat your rocks on an open fire, not directly on it, but just next to the coals, just like the meat. The meat is not directly in the fire. Well, some maniacs, yeah, well, not talking to you. But for those of us who like to put the meat next to the fire and not straight on the coals, we used to call that a Tarzan steak. You can cook rocks right alongside the meat. Of course, the rocks take longer. You gotta be more careful with maintaining the fire. Meat only takes a few minutes if you like it rare. So all you need to do is cook the outside. It took me a long time to realize that the inside of the meat doesn't have bacteria in it. So, you know, you can eat it raw as long as you don't touch the meat with anything. It's kind of hard to do, so what you do is you cook the outside, and that kills all the bacteria. But on the inside, it's still raw. And it's good. It's very tender in many cases. Now, sometimes a cut of meat is going to have tendons and stuff, so that's always going to be chewy. But raw is usually less chewy than cooked in that case. But I'm not an expert in cooking. Otherwise, I'd be doing cooking videos. Yeah, because they get millions of views. I should switch. I should. If I was smart. Switch to cooking videos. That way I could buy nice steaks. Yeah. Have nice steaks every day. Go to the fancy places in town. I have not been to any of the, well, I've been to maybe 2. 2 out of 10 of the fancy places in town. Yeah, I've been to one of the fancy coffee shops. Two of the fancy coffee shops. Those are the 2 fancy places I've been to. Did I get coffee? Why, yes, I did. I'm not supposed to, but I did. I missed the coffee. So I just take a little sip. It's good. And then I stop before my stomach says, "What are you doing?" I think I've said before that even with a little sip, my stomach still acts up, but sometimes it doesn't. So I take the risk. Yeah. I don't think it acted up last time. That's always dangerous, because then I say to myself, wait a second, if it didn't act up, was it the kind of coffee that I got? Or was it the fact that I didn't get anything added to it? What is it? What made it not make my stomach sick? Let's try another one. Yeah. See what it is. No, I don't do that anymore. I mean, that's so tempting, but you know, I've been there, done that already. It's just a fluke. If it doesn't make my stomach upset, it's just a fluke. Or I already have something else in my stomach that's a buffer or something. Yeah. Something to dilute the effect. Oh, talking about diluting the effect. I just had some blackberries just now before the video. Just 2 days ago, there were no wild blackberries in the backyard, but now there's bunches of them already ripe. So in 2 days, from nothing ripe to, I'd say, 10% of them are ripe now. In 2 days. So I ate some of those, but I had some sausage earlier. It's probably not fully digested, so I don't feel any bad effects. Sometimes I get bad effects like stomachache from the raspberries too. I didn't eat that many because I'm not supposed to eat fruits because of the sugar content. Carbohydrates mess me up. Instead of giving me energy, they do the opposite. Yeah. It has something to do with insulin. Yeah. Anyways. I ate some, and they were good. But I could tell that they were not like fully ripened. But I couldn't resist. Besides, I told myself, I need vitamin C. Yeah. It's my vitamins for the day. Yeah. Had like 7 or 8 little blackberries. Black raspberries, I mean. My favorite. Growing up, black raspberry ice cream was my favorite. Always. Whenever we go to get ice cream, my mom used to take us to get ice cream. What do you want, Patrick? You know what I want? Black raspberry. But don't you want to try strawberry and vanilla and all that stuff? No, I don't want to try it. Leave me alone. I'm not hungry anymore since you asked me that. No, I didn't do that. I felt like saying that so they leave me alone. But no, I was always ready. Nothing could persuade me from not having the black raspberry ice cream. Nothing spoiled my appetite for that. Not even 5 blackberry ice creams before that, all in a row. Yeah, my mom used to sometimes buy us doubles. What else would you like? Can I have another one? Same thing? Yes. Dang it. You're an unusual kid. Yeah, I know. Alright. That's it. I've already picked at it. And maybe you can see it. Maybe you could see it. Maybe you couldn't. Yeah, I like it. Just the way it is. And what is the size? Let's see. That's always the question, right? Size and the width to thickness ratio. It's 4 3/4. It looks bigger than it really is because my hands are small. Okay? Alright. Let's see. We got 40. Let's just call it a 43. It's not going to divide evenly. Well, it's 43. It was like 44 before. I lost a little bit. 43, and the thickness is 5 millimeter. 8:1, a little bit better than 8:1. Almost 9:1. Yeah. And that's because I lost some width. It would have been better. It would have been more better. All right, so there you go. I finished it up. Now I can get to work doing my other stuff for the night. I got 2 or 3 more to make. Maybe. If I don't conk out too soon. If I don't wear myself out too soon. All right. Yeah, there you go. I like it. I wish, well, yeah. I do wish I was better at identifying the stones because so many people ask, what type of stone is that, so I can ask and get it. So I can get 5 tons of it. Well, even if you knew the name, you wouldn't get 5 tons, but I know what you're saying. It's some kind of Texas Amoeba Chert. That's it. Yeah. Amoeba Chert, a lot of times, is very, very nice quality stuff. Okay. That's it. There you go.